Okay, so today's question comes in from Matthew Jacobs in Kentucky, who says his weakest link is speaking before groups. He has had a 25-year successful career in the financial services industry, but what is holding him back from really excelling in his profession is public speaking. He confesses that he gets gripped with stress and fear every time he tries. He says, "Some are born to be a good speaker and others, like myself, run the other direction. What do I do?" he asks. Okay, Matthew, first of all, don't think that anyone is born comfortable standing in front of groups with all eyes on them while having to hold their attention with your speaking. There certainly might be some wildly rare exceptions, but by the rule, we all, at least initially, have a great fear of speaking in front of a glaring audience. It's a primitive fear, one that was very real and valid for hundreds of thousands of years of our existence. Being isolated on an open and exposed plain with the eyes of other animals, including other humans, fixed upon you meant imminent mortal threat and danger. You are feeling those same primitive nervous system responses now. Even though those humans today are not leering at you from the brush, holding their spear, waiting to pounce, they're sitting in a Hilton ballroom with a pen and pad in their lap and have nothing but love and support in their heart. So just know that it's totally normal to feel fear. It's why people fear public speaking more than they do death. That situation used to lead to death, so it makes sense. All we have to do is just remind your primitive brain that we are no longer in primitive times. You are not actually in any mortal danger. Here are some great advice that someone gave me once about getting over nervousness. They said, the reason why there's no reason to be nervous is that people don't really care that much about what you have to say. He said they care far less than you think. Think about the last time you were in row 30 of an auditorium or in the corner of a ballroom or in the back of some dreary classroom trying desperately not to daydream or fall asleep. How much did you care? How much did you hang on every word of the speaker? Or did you silently hope that they were close to being finished? Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on in the mind of your audience. So remember this, they're not judging you as much as you think because they don't care as much as you think. I think knowing this helps enormously. Here's another tip someone shared with me about being nervous before speaking. He said, if you're nervous, that means you're being an egotist, making yourself way too important. Instead, you should be making this about the audience. Think about them, their hopes, their dreams, their ambitions. You are only there to serve them. The spotlight should be on them, not you. You see, when you take the spotlight off yourself, everything's so important, and make it about them, you then put the spotlight on them. Not only does your nervousness go away, but you also empathize better and connect with your audience better. So just go with that visual for a second. Envision taking the spotlight off yourself, everybody glaring at you, hanging on your every word is what it is that you're thinking about, and then shining it onto your audience instead. Immediately your nervous system relaxes. And lastly, Matthew and everybody else, I think you might find it helpful to know that some of the most successful and famous public speakers of all time had the same ancient brain wiring issues and also suffered from stage fright. Mark Twain, who made most of his income from speaking, not writing, in fact, said, there are two types of speakers, those that are nervous and those that are liars. Elvis Presley said, I've never gotten over what they call stage fright. I go through it every show. Bono of U2 claims to get nervous the morning of every one of the thousands of shows that he's performed. Founding Father Thomas Jefferson was so afraid of public speaking that he had someone else read the State of the Union address. The guy on the $1 bill, George Washington, the founding father of this country, didn't like speaking either. Winston Churchill, John F. Kennedy, Margaret Thatcher, Barbara Walters, Johnny Carson, Barbra Streisand have all reported fears of public speaking. Even Aristotle, Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, Winston Churchill, as I mentioned to you, Jack Welch, James Earl Jones, and now we know the former King of England, all had stutters and were nervous speakers at one time in their lives. So hey, Matthew and everybody else, if you're a bit nervous, you're in good company. and there's a great chance that you could still be stellar at it, just like those that I have mentioned. So do you feel better? Great. So everyone else, tell us, what do you do to overcome nervousness when speaking in public? Share your best practices with the community in the comments below.